How to read music, bass clef notes. In this video, you will learn how to read music specifically on the bass clef and how to memorize those notes. Each note tells you two things. One is the pitch, and this is up or down on the music staff, and it is which line or space the note is located on. The second thing that each note tells you is how long to hold that note. And this is if it's an eighth note, quarter note, half note, whole note, or any other type of note as well. This is the note value. And if you need to learn your note values, click on the link above. I won't be going over that in this video. We are learning about the bass clef notes. That means you have the bass clef written on the left. We have 5 lines and we have 4 spaces. And every single line and every single space represents a particular note on the piano or a particular pitch. So that very bottom note, that very bottom line, no matter which note it is, a quarter note, half note, whole note, on that bottom line, that's always going to be a low G. So remember, bottom line, low G. To remember these notes, you could use all cows eat grass. Now this is for the space notes of the bass clef going from bottom to top. So all A, cows C, eat E, grass G, representing each of those letters. So A, C, E, G. So the note on the bottom space of the bass clef, that's going to be an all A. And then on that second space, that's cows C. And on the third space, that's going to be eat E. And then on the top space, that is grass G. Now we can also figure out the notes on the lines this way by just counting up or down on the music alphabet. So that note on the middle line, that's after the C, that's C, D. And then on the fourth line, that's right after eat. So eat was E and A, B, C, D, E, F. And then if we look on the second line, again, we're starting with all A and A goes to B. So that's going to be a B. Here's a little diagram to help you remember all cows eat grass and then how to figure out those notes in between. So all A and then the next note is B. Cows C, and then the next note is D. Eat E, and then the next note is F, and then grass G, and then the next note is actually going to go back to A because our music alphabet only goes up to G. We go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then we start over from A again, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and we start over from A again. So then you can just go through the alphabet, and when you get to G, go back to A. Another way to remember the notes on the bass clef is the landmark system. So we're going to use landmark notes. These are specific notes on the bass clef that you will memorize right away. And these landmark notes will help you figure out all of the other notes on the bass clef. So our first landmark note is on the very bottom line. Easy to remember because it's on the bottom line. And that is a low G. Any note that falls on that bottom line is a low G. The next landmark note is going to be bass C, and this is on the second space going from the bottom. Remember, we had all cows C. So on that second space, memorize that that is a bass C. And then you don't necessarily need to remember that it's called bass C. You could just remember that it's a C. And then on that fourth line, that is going to be a bass F or just F if that's easier. The way that you can remember this is you see those 2 dots of the bass clef, and then in between those 2 dots, that line, that's the fourth line, that is the F line. And so you memorize that you have those 2 dots of the bass clef, and that line that's in between, that's where the F is located. And then the final landmark note for the bass clef is middle C, and that one I think is the first note that most people memorize. It has that little ledger line through it, and it's located above the bass clef. Actually looks a lot like the middle C from the treble clef that is below the bass, below the treble clef, excuse me. So the middle C looks very similar, just kind of upside down from each other. I'll show you both of them right here. So once you memorize those landmark notes, those 4 landmark notes of the bass clef, G, C, F, and then middle C, then you can just go through the music alphabet. Each line and each space gets its own note, and it's going up by step if you go line, space, line, space, line, space, and going through the alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And you can count through as I did in this diagram right here, and learn the rest of the notes. And even if you don't have all the notes memorized, you can figure them out so much quicker if you know that bottom line is a G, and then we cycle through the alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If you know that bottom line's a G, you know the very next note's going to be an A, and then the note after that's going to be a B. And then you know the next landmark note, that's a C. So you know that the middle line, that's going to be a D because D comes after C. And then you know that the third space is going to be an E because we go C, D, E, and you can count through there. And then we already have the F memorized as another landmark note. And then you know after the F, that very top space, that's a G. And then we have the A on the top line. And then after that, laying on the staff, that's a B. And then middle C is another landmark note. So those two ways to memorize the notes, the landmark note system and then all cows eat grass. I hope those two ways can help you memorize these bass clef notes really well. Also, remember that each line and space is a particular note, and that we cycle through the alphabet, the music alphabet, that only goes from A to G and then starts over back again from A. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end and for learning with me about bass clef's notes and learning how to read music on the bass clef today. If you would like to learn more about how to read music, then click on this playlist, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.